Mark EG and welcome to the Mark EG Show. This is the first episode of this show and we're going to be doing it all the time. We're going to be interviewing people, we're going to be doing reviews, we're going to be talking about the club scene, we're going to be talking about vinyl, music coming out, just so much different stuff we're going to be covering in these next episodes. So look you guys, I put a load of questions to you on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media networks, and you managed to ask me tons and tons of questions. I'm going to answer them for you today, and we've got little old Robo Mark EG over there ready to ask me the questions. Go on, man, ask me some questions.
Hello, my name is Robo Mark EG. I am here to read out your questions for you. Nick Tyler, in your early career, did you ever think this can't be for real? From reviewing tracks in a magazine to getting gigs in multi-arena raves, then producing tracks for mammoth labels like Lightning or Bonsai Records. It must have been an incredibly busy period in your life.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Of course, that was about 20 years ago now. I started 30 years ago, but Bonsai, Lightning, that kind of thing, that came around a little bit later when I was playing things like Helter Skelter and Dreamscape. Yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant time in my life and I absolutely loved it.
Chris Lambert, what's your thoughts on 90s hard trance and why is it still so popular today some 30 years on? The newer productions seem to be trying to capture that era whilst still pushing forward.
Yeah, hard trance music, it has just never ever died. It's been there since 1992, 1993. A mutation of techno and then continued on from there. Nowadays, it's transitioned, you know, you've got a lot of new producers coming up, but I think they've been influenced by that early 90s sound. And like I said, it still continues today.
Striking Lightning. How about lots more acrobatics on stage whilst you MC, but not swinging on my truss deck stand, please?
Oh, I know this guy really well. He does a lot of the gigs that I play at, and I usually end up swinging on his truss deck. So hopefully, I won't be doing that again. No, I will be doing that again.
Alex Martin, what's your most memorable lesson from the industry?
Most memorable lesson, man. I mean, the lesson is just to be nice with everybody. Don't be an asshole. I think, you know, that's a really important thing to say because that kind of keeps you going over the years, and people always remember you when you play for not being a dickhead, and there's a lot of those in the industry, so that's probably the most important lesson.
Kelsey Flanutorf, do you plan on coming back to Iowa anytime soon?
Iowa, what a brilliant place. America, been doing lots of tours over there recently and absolutely want to be coming back very soon. I'm doing the US-UK thing with Chad. We're trying to organise a tour, so fingers crossed that is going to be very, very soon. Next.
Chris Jones, what are your top tips for a vinyl set? How do you set out your records? How do you queue up and mix in and out for builds and drops? When do you just blend? And what is your thinking process?
Well, I mean, really, the most important thing is programming. So you've got to make sure you've got the right tracks for the right time. And then, obviously, a lot of it's about beat mixing. If you've got modern CDJs, then you've got the sync button. But try not to press that because you never know when something goes wrong in a club. Maybe that button isn't working. So just learn how to beat mix and do it properly. Okay, next.
Cole Wenzel, how much vinyl have you smashed over your head through the years?
Way too much vinyl to mention. In fact, I don't do it so much anymore because obviously you can't smash USB sticks over your head. But I had so much fun doing that back in the day.
Leon Edmondson, who would win in a fight between you and Proteus?
A fight between me and Proteus? Well, Proteus, obviously. I mean, he's built like a brick so he annihilates me every time. I can't believe his strength, actually, when he holds me up on the decks and I'm doing my thing and kicking in the air and all sorts of stupidness. So, respect, Proteus, you would definitely win.
Stephen Large, what's your most played tape you own? Mine's you and M-Zone at Helter Skelter Energy 98. I was front and center in Roller's warehouse for that beast.
Yeah, Helter Skelter, who remembers those days, hey? I certainly do. I kind of used to collect cassettes way before Helter Skelter, so we're talking the early house music days. So people like Stu Allen, Piccadilly Key 103, 808 State, because of course I was from Manchester. So yeah, those are my days of collecting cassettes, and they used to get worn out completely. Next.
Kane Dolan, what's the best gig you've played at? I know you had a soft spot for Dance Academy Plymouth. There's no decent clubs anymore. Crash Manor, that's it. But it can't and doesn't live up to Dance Academy days. Hope you're good, mate. Been a huge fan of yours since 2002.
Yeah, Dance Academy. Who remembers Dance Academy as well? You know, these clubs kind of come and go, these amazing places that just at the time, they don't seem like they're ever going to end. But unfortunately, they do. But then again, something else always comes along, and there are loads of great parties out there at the moment. You've just got to know where they are. And by the way, don't forget 909-303 in Leeds. That's one of the best parties ever at the moment.
Unknown. Full stop. How long you been in the business and how did it all start for you?
How long have I been in the business? Well, as a DJ, a young DJ, I was only, I think, 13, 14 when I started. But if you're really talking about the business, that would have probably been about 22 years old. So 20 years ago was when I really jacked everything in for music. So whether you want to look at it as 30 years ago, 20 years ago, it's still been a hell of a long time.
Andy Newbury, if you could interview anyone for the magazine channel, who would it be and why?
Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, of course I've got my heroes the same as everyone else. My heroes tend to be like really seriously old school producers. I wasn't too into DJs at the beginning. I was more into the producers and obviously DJ'd myself, but I didn't really look up to anyone very early on. So for me, it would be probably house and acid and techno producers like Juan Atkins, Derek May, Marshall Jefferson. Mind you, I have interviewed those kinds of people for the magazines that I used to do because I used to write a lot as well. So I'd probably just give them a call and let's see what we can do with those guys.
Mike Bushnell, what was the worst gig you played? What was the location or style of music or equipment you had to use?
The worst gig I played, I don't actually think I've got one because in this industry you learn very quickly not to be negative about stuff because there is a lot that goes on when you play and things can go wrong, and if you sit there moaning about it, well, you're just not going to enjoy the party. So look, just enjoy the party no matter what happens and go out there and just be grateful that you're actually DJing.
Craig Roberts, when would you say your favourite years were? Or to say differently, your most fun years?
Favourite years? Well, obviously the early Helter Skelter days were fantastic because it was all very new. I was getting huge gigs throughout the whole world at that point. So that was definitely a favourite time, but even now is a favourite time, the way that music's developed and changed, and obviously the whole social media thing, even though it's a bit of a pain up the ass, I think that you connect with a lot of people that you wouldn't have connected with beforehand. So it's all great, you know?
Stuart Murray Tate, how long does it take you to style your spiky hair?
It's not actually me that does it, so it doesn't take me any time at all!
Paul Allen, what kind of music do you listen to besides techno and when?
Gosh, I listen to so many different styles of music, it really doesn't matter. I'm a huge fan of 80s music, I'm a huge fan of jazz music, I'm a huge fan of electronica. It really doesn't matter, as long as the music's been made with a kind of a passion, that's all that really matters to me. And then I can dissect the music that's happening from the artist's point of view. It's music like that really interests me.
Pete Goodrick, if I sent you some hot sauces I've made, would you do a hot wing challenge on the show?
Absolutely I would, come on, bring it on!
Tim Shaddick, during your 10-hour set at Dreamscape, how Gunners did you bosh?
How Gunners? Oh, how many Gunners did you bosh? Quite a few back then, I can tell you that for sure. By the way, it was 15 hours, not 10 hours, okay?